ચાલુ છે? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Welcome to Sri Radha Govinda Temple. Today is the 8th day of our katha, and please make a note that tomorrow is going to be last day because katha is 9 days. But we are very fortunate because Sunday is Ram Navami celebration. So we are followed by Ram Navami on 10th day. We will make sure that you log on around 6. We'll be showing you the Aarti, and also 6:30 I'll be speaking Ram Katha again for the benefit of our congregation members. You can also participate, but that is just the extension of what we are doing today. Now, without further delay, let us start chanting and do our Ram Katha. Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipuno Saddharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarano Tribhuvane Manyau Sharanya Karo Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajanam Nandana Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami. They are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and engage in transcendent loving service of Radha and Krishna. Om Ajnanatirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatt, Gopal Bhatt, and Sri Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Shivas and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani Shri Krishna along with the associate Shri Lalita and Vishakha. Oh my dear Krishna, you are the friend of distress and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishvanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desired trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivas, and all the others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, I had a request from a friend to serve something in Hindi language pertaining to this obeisances that we do it to Guru Parampara, and to add some prayers being an humble devotee. This is in Hindi because the person who wants to listen is in Hindi, but if possible, we'll also translate at the same time. The words are, Gurudev daya karke mujhko apna lena. Please be merciful, my spiritual master. I am surrendering you at your lotus feet, and please accept me as your disciple. Karuna Nidhi Nama Tera. We are reading Ram Katha. One of the names, Ram Sastranama, as one very important name, and that is Karuna Nidhi. He is the reservoir of mercy. So merciful. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so merciful, right? He distributed this Harinam freely. And that's why we are here in this temple, established by Srila Prabhupada more than 50 years ago. When Hanumanji went to see Mother Sita, he didn't know how to introduce himself. And everyone were demons. So Mother Sita would not recognize Hanumanji. That was very, very auspicious, very obvious. So Hanumanji picked one name out of Rama Sahasranama, and that is Karunanidhi. Hiding behind the tree, he said, Mother Sita, I am a disciple, I am a servant of Karunanidhi Ramachandra. As soon as he uttered these words, Karunanidhi, Mother Sita knew he cannot be a demon. He must be a devotee. So here it says, Karunanidhi nama tera karuna dikhlao tum. In Hindi it says that your name is Karunanidhi. You are the reservoir of mercy. Please show little mercy to me and accept me as your disciple. So let's sing that. It's a short and sweet bhajan. but there is no any Mayavad attached to it. The difference is language. Srimad Bhagavat, Bhagavad Gita, and so many other scriptures are written in Sanskrit. The difference is when Prabhupada translated into English, it sounded more authentic. And it helped the Western people as well as Eastern people. So this is what it is. Whatever we are chanting about spiritual master in the beginning, including the whole Guru Parampara, disciplic succession, the same prayers are there. Difference is Hindi. And that also we do at the request of our sponsors. The words are beautiful. And if you can sing with me, you can sing with me. गुरुदेव दया करके मुझको अपना लेना, गुरुदेव दया करके मुझको अपना लेना, मैं शरण पड़ा तेरी चरणों में जगा देना, गुरुदेव दया करके मुझको अपना लेना। करुणानिधि नाम तेरा, करुणा दिखलाओ तुम, करुणानिधि नाम तेरा, करुणा दिखलाओ तुम, सोए हुए भाग्यों को हे नाथ जगाओ तुम, मेरी नाव भंवर डोले उसे पार लगा देना, गुरुदेव दया करके मुझको अपना लेना। तुम सुख के सागर हो, निर्बल के सहारे हो, तुम सुख के सागर हो, निर्बल के सहारे हो, इस तन में समाये हो, मुझे प्राण से प्यारे हो, नित माला जपूं तेरी, नहीं दिल से भुला देना, गुरुदेव दया करके मुझको अपना लेना। पापी हूँ या कपटी, जैसा भी हूँ तेरा हूँ, पापी हूँ या कपटी, जैसा भी हूँ तेरा हूँ, घर बार छोड़ कर मैं जीवन में अकेला हूँ, मैं दुख का मारा हूँ, मेरा दुखड़ा मिटा देना, गुरुदेव दया करके मुझको अपना लेना। मैं सबका सेवक हूँ, तेरे चरणों का चेला हूँ, मैं सबका सेवक हूँ, तेरे चरणों का चेला हूँ। नहीं नाथ भूलना मुझे, इस जग में अकेला हूँ। तेरे दर का भिखारी हूँ, मेरा दोष मिटा देना। गुरुदेव दया करके मुझको अपना लेना। Very Krishna conscious bhajan. We don't know who wrote it, who sang it, but it projects the Krishna consciousness. मैं सबका सेवक हूँ. That should be the attitude every devotee should have. I am not only the servant of Lord Shri Krishna, I am servant of this whole world. Every living entity, I need to serve. Service is the motto, and that's why every one of us is named Das. Nikunjbihari Das. Sharad Bihari Das. So that explains the quality of this particular song. While we were reading a couple of days before, we came across a proposal of Shatananda Swami, who was the chief priest of Janaka Raja. Now Ramachandra and Lakshman, they are there in Mithila with Vishwamitri. And Shatananda asked, who are these exalted personalities? They are beautiful boys. And they were introduced not only to Shatananda Maharaj, but also to Janak Maharaj, that these are brothers. One is Ram, other is Lakshmana. So, upon the request of Shatananda Maharaj, they started opening some subjects one by one in a friendly talk. And in presence of Vishwamitra, they reminded one incident that happened with Vasishtha Muni. This is where we left off. That is why I would like to go over it, because I don't want to think people that because of shortage of time, we left something aside. Every incident, every event that we are coming one by one in Ram Katha, they are so important. And when I read this thing, this particular pastime, then you will know that it's worth talking about, it's worth listening to, and it's worth knowing about it. So once upon a time, King Vishwamitra, son of Gadi, accidentally arrived at the hermitage of great sage. And then Vishwamitra is asking for the holy cow, which is a Kamdhanu cow, sometimes known as a Nandini, sometimes known as a Subala. But she can fulfill all the desires. So, on the plea that she had been kept by him for the service of the gods, mains and newcomers, to receive them. Main purpose was sacrificial purposes. Main purpose was Abhishek of Supreme Personality of Godhead. God needed, or the Vasishtha Muni needed milk, yogurt, clarified butter, etc. And this cow will provide. And if there is some guest like Vishwamitra comes, doesn't matter how many, that day he had 60,000 soldiers with him. But it doesn't matter because this is a wish fulfilling cow. So number doesn't matter. She can give plenty. So Vishwamitra was actually received very well. But he wanted to take the cow away by force, thinking that need is greater than need of Vasishtha Muni. What he needs, couple of pounds of milk and couple of pounds of yogurt or ghee every day. Why he has to have a Kamadhenu cow? I can use it to feed my soldiers every single day. So, when he decided to do that, Nandini approached Vasishtha and piteously told him that the hard-hearted man of royal army mercilessly belabored her with whips and clutches and wondered and how he had shut his eyes to this tyranny. So Vasishtha gave her the following reply. The cow complained that how come you keep quiet? You see these people are beating me up and forcibly taking away. So Vasishtha Muni says, Kshatriyanam balam tejo brahmanamam kshama balam. Kshamamam bhajate yasmad gamyatam yadi rochate. Vasishtha Muni says the strength of a Kshatriya lies in their indomitable courage, while the strength of a Brahmanas lie in the forbearance. I cannot give up forbearance. You can leave me if you please to do so. He says, it's up to you. I am not giving you away. But if they are taking you, you should protest. You should do something about it. I cannot do it because I am a Brahmin. And I have to practice forbearance, which I have done all my life. And the Kamadhenu assured the sage that none could take her by force if he did not forsake her. And Vasishtha in his turn gave her to understand that he had no intention to abandon her, and she was at liberty to stay if she could. Thereupon, Nandini or Subala assumed a terrible aspect. Her tail began to rain fire. And the army of Vishwamitra was utterly confounded. Nandini's host didn't kill a single member of royal army, but Vishwamitra and his soldiers, they all fled in terror. They ran away. Vishwamitra saw no one who could protect them. Then he was filled with great wonder. And while running away from doors of Vasishtha Muni, this is the most famous sentence in spiritual world. And we should be proud of this observation or the statement spoken by Vishwamitra. He says, Dik balam kshatriya balam, brahma tejo balam balam. Flee upon the might of the kshatriyas, the strength in the shape of spiritual glow of the brahmanas is real strength. We are nothing compared to brahmanas. And decided that Vishwamitra then renounced his sovereignty and undertook austere penances just to become a Brahmin. Gradually he earned the title of Rajarshi, a royal sage, a Maharshi, a great sage, and finally known as a Brahmarshi, a sage among the Brahmanas. So, what it is that it may happen in our spiritual life that there is a defeat, and the defeat that we cannot even take anymore, we cannot even describe. There is no way out. But if you are born with a mode of ignorance, you must try to step up and come in the mode of passion. And once you come in the mode of passion, you should try, endure. And by practicing austerities, you must come up to the Brahmanical stage, mode of goodness. So these are the kind of stories. And I wish we can go over this each and every event that we are reading from Ramayana. In yesterday's reading, we were fortunate to purify our intelligence in a very close association with Hanumanji for removing all the misconceptions regarding Ramayana and Lord Rama, Sita and Lakshmana. We are now sanctified and ready again to glorify Lord Ramachandraji. So, after that story was narrated, Ram and Lakshmana were taken around. They shown the Mithila city, and they explained that there is going to be a big event known as Sita's Swayamvar. And they asked Vishwamitra that let these children participate because they have godly features, godly qualities and abilities. So, at Sita's Swayamvar, in the midst of all great heroes of the world, Lord Rama broke the bow of Lord Shiva, even though it was so heavy that 300 men were needed to carry it, and did. After stringing the bow, the Lord easily broke it at the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugar cane. In this way, Lord Rama won the hand of Sita, the goddess of fortune herself, who was equally endowed with transcendent qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. While returning to Ayodhya along with Sita, Lord Rama defeated Parshuram, who was very proud of having rid the earth of Kshatriyas 21 times, and who had come to challenge him. And now we are entering back. Maharaja Dashrath had 3 wives. One of them, Kaikeyi, served him very pleasingly, and he therefore wanted to give her a benediction. Kaikeyi, however, said that she would ask for benediction when it was necessary. At the time of coronation of Prince Ramachandra, Kaikeyi requested her husband, Dashrath, to enthrone her son Bharat and send Ramchandra to the forest. Maharaja Dashrath, being bound by his promise, ordered Ramchandra to go to forest according to the dictation of his beloved. And the Lord, as an obedient son, accepted the order immediately. He left everything without hesitation, just as liberated soul or great yogi gives up his life without material attraction. Tasmin kale maranya rakshasi kamarupini Vichichara Mahasattva Janasthana Nivasini. While wandering the forest, where he accepted a life of hardship, carrying his invincible bow and arrows in his hand, Lord Ramachandra reformed Ravana's sister, who was polluted with lusty desires, by cutting off her nose and ears. He also killed her 14,000 Rakshasa friends, headed by Karo, Trishira, and Dushana. So, we see the incident with Shurpanka. Vichintyeva nishayamsa prabhate rathamasthita Ravano manasa karyam ekam nischitya buddhyama. O King Parikshit, now we are coming back to Shukadeva Goswami, and he is addressing and answering question about Lord Ramachandra asked by King Parikshit. So Shukadeva Goswami says, O King Parikshit, when Ramana, who had 10 heads on his shoulders, heard about the beautiful and attractive features of Sita, his mind was agitated by lusty desires, and he went to kidnap her. To distract Lord Ramchandra from his ashram, Ravana sent Marich in the form of a golden deer. And when Lord Ramchandra saw that wonderful deer, he left his residence and followed it, and finally killed it with a sharp arrow, just as Lord Shiva killed Daksha. Atha Ramopi tat sarvam Gnatva Ravana chestitam Uvacha Sitame Kante Shunu Janaki Me Vacham. When Ramchandra entered the forest and Lakshmana was also absent, the worst of Rakshasa Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita, the daughter of King Videha. Just as a tiger seizes unprotected sheep when the shepherd is absent, then Lord Ramchandra wandered in the forest with his brother Lakshmana, as if very much distressed due to the separation from his wife. Thus he showed by his personal example the condition of a person attached to a woman. This is a beautiful example Lord Ramchandra is trying to establish. And this is all approved by all the scriptures that we read. So in the Skanda Purana, if you go, the same kind of understanding is projected. Nitya Purna Sukha Gnana Swaruposi Yato Vibhu Etosya Rama Ityakhya Jasya Dukham Kutonmapi Tathapi Lokashikshardham Adukho Dukhvartivat Antarita Lokadrashtyam Sitamasit Smaranniva Gnapanartham Punarnitya Samandasvatmana Shriya Ayodhyaya Vinirgachan Sarvalokasya Cheshwaram Pratyaksham tu Shriya Sardham Jagamanadiravyaya Nakshatramasa Ganidam Triyodasha Sastrakam Brahmaloka Samam Chakre Samastam Kshitimandalam Ramo Ramo Ramiti Sarvesham Bhavatadadam Sarvo Ramamayo Loko Yadaramastu Palayat Nityapurna Sukhagnanam Swarupo Soyato Vibhu. This is so beautiful. And here, the explanation is given that it was actually impossible for Ravana to take away Mother Sita. The form of Sita taken by Ravana was an illusory representation of Maya Sita. It was just an illusion. So later on, when Sita was tested in fire, this Maya Sita was burned and the real Sita came out of the fire. This is the translation from Skanda Purana. Some people, they misunderstand whatever edition they have of Ramayana. They say this is it. Right? But no matter which Purana or scripture you refer to, Ramayana is there. Because it was long before Kali Yuga started, long before Dwapar Yuga even started. Ram was born in Treta Yuga. So, everyone is following Ram. And Ram belongs to everyone. It's not a property of certain sampradaya. Now, going further, it says, Tato Ramo Lakshmanena Jagam Vipinam Taram Punardukham Samashrityam Sitanveshan Tatparam. Lord Ramchandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of human being. Thus he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravana. The Lord then killed the demon named Kabandha, and after making friends with monkey chiefs, killing Vali, and arranging for the deliverance of Mother Sita, he went to beach of the ocean. This is where there was hindrances and obstacle, some kind of problem, because they saw an unlimited, extended Indian Ocean. And in order to reach Sita, because Jatayu said Ravana took him, she must be in Lanka. You follow Ravana, cross the ocean and go there. You will find Sita there. So upon his recommendation, they went there. And they requested Lord Hanuman. The Jambuvan, the Richapati, the king of bears, he told Hanumanji that you are a son of wind god. You possess strength of a wind. You are very intelligent. Nothing is impossible for you to achieve. Not only that, your birth is to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Rama is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now we should all know that. Of course, day and night, 24 hours, we are attending lotus feet of Radha Govinda. But is there difference between Ram and Krishna? No. Is there difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? You can see on the balcony this beautiful painting. Is there any difference? No. There is no difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his Shadbhuja Murti, Shadbhuja means 6 arms. Every day he will walk around with 2 hands like that, Haribol, Haribol. To the special devotees, he gave a darshan with 6 hands. 2 hands were Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's regular hands. 2 hands whereof Radha Govinda holding the flute, and two hands were holding arrow and a bow, and those two hands were Lord Ramachandra's hands. Just to prove that there is no difference between me, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Ramachandra, and Lord Krishna. So the story goes on. Hanumanji is crossing the ocean. He meets Mother Sita, and he comes back with a message from her. And she says, Sita Mata says, I have only 1 month. Ravana says, in 1 month, if he doesn't come and pick you up, I'm going to kill you. So pretty soon, 1 year is going to be over, and I believe my life is going to be over. So after this message, what happens? Vibhishano Mahabhag Chaturbhira Mantribhi Saha Agatya Gagane Ram Sanmukhe Samavastita. After reaching the beach, Lord Ramchandra fasted for 3 days, awaiting the arrival of ocean personified. When the ocean didn't come, Lord exhibited his pastimes of anger, and simply by his glancing over the ocean, all the living entities within it, including the crocodiles and sharks, were agitated by fear. Then the personified ocean fearfully approached Lord Ramachandra, taking all paraphernalias to worship him. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, the personified ocean spoke as follows. The ocean says, O all-pervading Supreme Person, Lord Ramchandra, we are dull-minded and did not understand who you are. But now we understand that you are Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of the entire universe, the unchanging and original Personality of Godhead. The demigods are infatuated with the modes of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the Lord of ghosts with the mode of ignorance. But you are the master of all these qualities. So yesterday only we were looking into some misconception about Lord Sri Rama. He is the most controversial figure. People think he became a victim of mode of ignorance. Oh, that event, he became a victim of passion. No. He is beyond that. He is gunatita. Not even mode of goodness can touch him. What to speak of mode of ignorance you are talking about? So here it says, Vipada santu tashasvata tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yasyat punarbhava darshanam. My Lord, you may use my waters as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravana, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the 3 worlds. This is what's happened when you are in mode of passion. You want this, you want this, you want this, you want this. Your stomach is always empty. No matter how much you eat, you are not satisfied. Right? You are hankering for each and everything that's existing around you. And even if you are given that, you look around and say, is there anything anymore? Can I consume? So, he's crying for the 3 worlds. He's the son of Vishrava, but is condemned like a urine. The Samudra, the ocean personified, he is telling him, because he knows the water. Water as everything is there in water. But when it comes to urine, he is disgusted. right? Because the water is coming from the sky and is pure, like a crystal. And if someone is urinating in that water, the samudra or river, or even a swimming pool, or ordinary shower, you know, you should not be urinating anywhere. What I mean that wherever is provision, wherever there is a facility or some kind of design where this is where you should be doing those things, not anywhere. It's like parking. No parking means no parking. But people do that. And they get the ticket. And he got the ticket right now from ocean personified that Ravana is nothing but urine. Please go and kill him and regain your wife Sita Devi. O great hero, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing these wonderfully uncommon deeds of your lordship, all the great heroes and the kings in the future will glorify you. So he gave his permission. Please build the bridge and walk over it. Setum arambamanastu tatra rameshwaram shivam संस्थाप्य पूजयित्वा रामो लोकहिताय च. Shukadeva Goswami says, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains whose trees and other vegetables had been shaken by hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhushana, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers, headed by Sugriva, Nila and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom, Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. Shrutva shuka mukhodvitam Vakyam Gnananashanam Ravana Krodhatam Raksho Dhanni Vatamabravita. After entering Lanka, monkey soldiers led by chiefs like Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace, doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palaces, frontage, and even the resting houses of the peasants. Now here, it's a real funny language. Why they have to attack where the peasants live? What here, Shukadeva Goswami is using the kind of words which is, they call it Vani Vilas. In language of scripture, it says Vani Vilas. Very poetic. Not even a pigeon can live peacefully in a little hole. Everything was taken. That's what he's trying to say. Not a little sparrow or a little ant can enter and say, oh, I'm happy here. They destroyed Lanka from top to bottom. And when the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water spots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by the herd of elephants. When we read this pastime of Gajendra Moksha, everything was okay in Gajendra's life until he took and trying to show off to the girlfriends how great he is. So he entered the river and started disturbing waters everywhere. He was dancing and spraying. Didn't care for the little entities living in the water. That's why the crocodile got very mad at elephant. It's okay. You come and drink water, we have no problem with that. You dance a little bit on the shore, it's fine. Right? Try to impress your girlfriends by showing little circus. That's also okay with us. But you're killing the animals. The little fish, the little babies, where they are going to go when you're stepping all over. And that's became one of the cause why crocodile killed Gajendra. Of course, this whole thing was a pastime, but still, this is the reason. That's why Shukadeva Goswami is again coming back, and he says, "Appear like a river disturbed by the herds of elephants." When Ravana, the master of Rakshasa, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called Nikumbh, Kumbh, Dhumaksha, Durmukha, Surantara, Nirantaka, Atikaya. And then he called Prahasta, Vikampana, Kumbhakarna, and finally his own son, Indrajit. Lord Ramchandra, surrounded by Lakshmana and monkey soldiers like Sugriva, Hanuman, Gandhamad, Neela, Angada, Jambuvan, and Panasa, attacked the soldiers of Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, pras, rusti, sakti, arrows, khadag, and tomars. These are the different names of the weapons the monkeys were carrying. And then it says, Ramo vibhishanam drastva Hanumanta changadam Lakshmanam kapirajam cha Jambuvantam tathaparam. Angad and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramchandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses and chariots of enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs and arrows. Thus the soldiers of Lord Ramchandra killed Ravana's soldiers, who had lost all the good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. Thereafter, when Ravana, the king of Rakshasa, observed that his soldiers had been lost, he was extremely angry. Thus he mounted his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded towards Lord Ramchandra, who sat on the effulgent chariot brought by Mathali, the chariot driver of Indra. Then Ravana struck Lord Ramchandra with sharp arrows. Vishuddha trishu lokeshu Maithili janakatmaja Navihatum maya shakyam Kirti ratmavata yatha. Lord Ramchandra said to Ravana, "You are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. You resemble a dog, for a dog steals eatables from kitchen in the absence of the householders. In my absence, you kidnap my wife Sita Devi. Thereafter, as Yamaraj punished sinful man, I shall also punish you. You are most abominable, sinful, and shameless." Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you. So this is words of Lord Ramachandra. Iti yuktva vahanam premna ragni mandodari tada ravana prayayo yuddham ramena sasanyuge. After this rebuking Ravana, Lord Ramchandra fixed an arrow and his bow, aimed at Ravana and released the arrow, which pierced Ravana's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravana's followers raised a tremulous sound, crying, "Alas, alas, what has happened? What has happened?" As Ravana, vomiting blood from his tan mouth, fell from his airplane, just as a pious man falls to the earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are exhausted. So Shukadeva Goswami is coming back to Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita it says that it's easy to go to moon planet or any other Pitrulok or any desired location in this universe through your pious activities. But as soon as you are exhausted of those pious activities, then you fall on this earth upside down and take a birth again. And again start the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. You cannot escape. And that is why it's better to go to back to Godhead instead of wasting time and going to Brahmaloka or Pitraloka or Chandraloka or Suryaloka. So then, here it says, Tato niskramya langaya yatu danya sastrasham mandodarya samantatra prarudanta upadravan. Thereafter all the women whose husbands had fallen in the battle, headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, came out of Lanka, continuously crying. They approached the dead bodies of Ravana and the other Rakshasas. Svana svana bandhun parijya Lakshmaneshu virdartani Ruda suswaram dinam Gnantu atmana atmanam Svana svana bandhun parishvajya Lakshmaneshu virdartana Rurudu sukharam dinam Gnantu atmana atmanam. Striking their breast in affliction because their husband had been killed by the arrows of Lakshmana, the women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone. Now all these things are there. We don't have time to go into details. But when you hear something, you should be also analyzing every verse in your mind. Why Shukadeva Goswami is telling you this? How you are concerned with how the widows are crying, what they are crying. And no. Shukadeva Goswami is guiding you that if your husband is in a mess, if he is not following the regulative principles, if he is messing with some other woman other than yourself, you should take action on him. You must stop him. Because if you don't do that, then Rama is ready with his arrow. Someday you are going to lose your husband and you will have to cry like this. That's why he is writing all this. Otherwise, everything is useless for us. हाहतास्म वयं नाथ लोक रावण रावण कम्याया शरणं लंका त्वद्विहीन परार्दिता. O my Lord, O Master, you epitomize trouble for others, and therefore you were called Ravana. But now that you have been defeated, we also are defeated. For without you and the state of Lanka has been conquered by enemies, to whom will we go for shelter? Nave ved mahabhag bhavan kamavasham gata tejonu sitayam yenanito dashabhimam. O greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. Krutesha vidvalanka vayam chakulanandana deha krutonnam gruantma atma narakhetave. O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty, because of you, the state of Lanka and also we ourselves now have no protector. By your deeds you have made your body fit to eaten by vultures and your soul fit to go to hell. So they knew it's not just him. Not only you spoil your future, you spoil our future also. Now what's going to happen? The vulture will come. They not only will eat the dead bodies, but we are without any protection without you. And they will bite us also. And they also will eat our flesh. Right? And then they say, you will go to hell. And as wives, we will have to also follow you. And we will also end up in the hell. Why did you do this? Khana vibhishana chakre kosalendra anumoditam pitrumeda vidanena yaduktam samparayikam. Shri Shukuvaju. Swanam vibhishana chakre kosalendra anumodita. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Vibhishan, the pious brother of Ravana and devotee of Lord Ramachandra, received approval from Ram Ramachandra, the king of Kosala. Then he performed the prescribed funeral ceremony for his family members to save them from the path to hell. So this is a good message for some of the people. There are some books around here where Prabhupada is stressing and giving some concession to pure devotees. In the books where what to do after death, Prabhupada prohibits. He says, if you are pure devotee, don't do nothing. But my father died, that's okay. You are a pure devotee. But my mother died, that's okay. You are a pure devotee. Pure devotee doesn't have to do anything. And everybody rejoices. Oh, my father, I don't have to do anything. Because why? I'm a pure devotee. Look at me. Look at me. I'm putting the tilak. Look at me, I'm wearing the dhoti. Look at me, I have this. Are you call yourself devotees? Are you chanting 16 rounds? Well, sometimes not. Are you following principles? Well, it's difficult in Kali Yuga, you know. So how come you say you're a pure devotee and don't do anything for your father and mother? What's wrong with you? You are not a pure devotee. You have to be certified by Srila Prabhupada. Then only you are a pure devotee. So here, even though Vibhishan was a direct disciple of Ramachandraji. Vibhishan performed ceremony. And Lord Rama also said that there should not be any grievance against somebody. You should not hold on your grudges against somebody. You should not consider somebody an enemy all your life. Maranante kim prayojanam. When Vibhishan is approaching to get the permission of Ramachandra, what should I do? That time, Ramachandra is advising. Once the person dies, everything should die with him. He says, remember Vibhishan, even I am not going to say he was a bad guy or a good guy. I'm not going to do anything against him. I'm not going to pass on a single comment on him. He's dead. And whatever good or bad he did also died with him. So that's why Ramchandra says, Maranante, after that, Kim Prayojan. How it's going to help you in glorifying him or cursing him or slapping his cheeks? No. He's gone and everything is gone with him. So you must perform the ceremony. So I like this. Prescribe funeral ceremonies for his family member to save them from the path of hell. If you don't do, then you will go to hell. Read first chapter, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Even Arjuna had the same feelings that, my Lord, I will follow your order. I will kill everybody. But then who will do the pindadan for them? The father is dead, the son is dead, the grandson is dead. The whole society will be screwed up. Everybody will end up in hell. And that's why Prabhupada says, if you're pure devotee, do not worry about everything. And here everybody is trying to claim, oh, I'm a pure devotee. I don't have to deal any karmakand. I don't do any sanskar for my son and daughter. No. It's for old timer. It's for, what do you call, those people who are not advanced. I'm an advanced devotee. I don't have to do any rituals. I don't believe in that. Whether you believe or no, it doesn't matter. Some people, they stay in bed up to 12 o'clock in the afternoon thinking the sun has not risen. But when they come out and look out of the window, sun is over their forehead. Right? So the thing is that your belief doesn't count at all in this world. Right? And that's why it says, Tato darsha bhagavan shokavanikashrame kshamam sabhirapyadhim shinshipamulamasritam. Therefore, Lord Ramchandra found Sita Devi sitting. Thereafter, Lord Ramchandra found Sita Devi sitting in a small cottage beneath the tree named Shimshapa. Shimshapa was the name of the tree where Mother Sita Devi was taking rest. In a forest of Ashoka trees, she was lean and thin, being aggrieved because of separation from him. Rama Priyatamam Bharya Deenam Vikshan Makampata Atma Sandarshina Radha Vikasanmukha Pankajam. Seeing his wife in this condition, Lord Ramchandra was very compassionate. When Ramchandra came before her, she was exceedingly happy to see her beloved, and her lotus-like face showed her joy. Arupyaruheyanam bhatrubhyam hanumadyuta Vibhishanaya Bhagavan Dattva Raksho Ganeshatam. After giving Vibhishan the power to rule the Rakshasa population of Lanka for the duration of one kalpa, Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, placed Sita Devi on an aeroplane decorated with flowers and then got on plane himself. The period for his living in the forest having ended, Lord returned to Ayodhya, accompanied by Hanuman, Sugriva, and his brother Lakshmana. But it's so painful to go through all this that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had to go through. Every step he suffered. When Lord Ramchandra returned to his capital, Ayodhya, he was greeted on the road by princely order who showered his body with beautiful fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. Now here is a classic. I can't even read this. Oh, not only Rama went through all these troubles. How Bharat is going through these troubles. Just read this. Gomutrayavakam shrutva Bhrataram kalvalambaram Mahakaruniko tapya Jatilam sthini. Upon seeing Ayodhya, Lord Ramchandra heard that in his absence, his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in urine of a cow. Of course, cow urine is auspicious and is good for health, but being brother of Ramchandra, being the king of Ayodhya, why the person has to eat something simple like barley and cook in the urine of a cow? He wouldn't even drink water. He wouldn't even eat any grains or beans. And such a simple diet, one cannot think of it. So, for 14 years he did. Not one day, 2 days, 14 years. Upon seeing Ayodhya, the Lord Chandra heard that his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in urine of cow, covering his body with bark of trees. He was not even wearing clothes. The bark of trees he will pull out of the banana tree or whatever and will wrap himself. Doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. Wearing matted locks of his hair and lying on the mattress of Kusha. He could easily afford a mattress, right? He can sit on the royal throne, the golden throne. But no, he will spread Kusha grass and sit on it. He will spray Kusha grass and sleep on it. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this. It's so unbelievable austerity that even Lord Rama cried. When Lord Bharata understood that Lord Ramchandra was returning to the capital, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramchandra's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigram. As a story we already saw, that instead of enthroning Lord Ramchandra on the throne of Ayodhya, he decided to put the sandals of Lord Rama. And he says, nobody is ruling this city. Let the sandals of my elder brother Ramchandra rule Ayodhya. And that's what happened all the 14 years. Lord Bharata was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned Brahmanas loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden ropes. These chariots were decorated by flags with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. These were soldiers bedecked with golden armors, servants wearing betel nuts, and many well-known beautiful girls. Many servants followed by foot, bearing an umbrella with different grades of precious jewels and other paraphernalias befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharata, his heart softened in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramchandra and fell at the lotus feet with a great ecstatic love. Ramo Lakshmana Sitabhyam Viprebhyo Sattama Kebhya Swayam Namaschakre Prajabhischa Namaskruta. After offering the wooden shoes before Lord Ramchandra, Lord Bharata stood with folded hands, his eyes full of tears, and Lord Ramchandra bathed Bharata with tears while embracing him with both arms for a long time. Accompanied by Mother Sita and Lakshmana, Lord Ramchandra then offered his respectful obeisances unto the learned Brahmanas, an elderly person in the family, and all the citizens of Ayodhya offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord Ramchandra. Dunmanta Uttarasangam Patin Viksha Chiragatam Uttara Kosalamalye Kirantum Rudam. The citizen of Ayodhya, upon seeing their king return, after a long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper clothes, and danced in the great jubilation. Paduke Bharato Gruham Chamar Vajanottame Vibhishana Sugriva Sveta Chatram Marutsutaham. O king, Lord Bharata carried Lord Ramchandra's wooden shoes. Sugriva and Vibhishan carried a whisk and an excellent fan. Hanuman carried a white umbrella. Shatrughna carried a bow and a few weavers. And Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from the holy places. Angad carried a sword, and Jambuvan, king of the Rukshas, carried a golden shield. Pushpakasto nutastrivi stuyomanasya mandivi vireje bhagavan rajan graheshchandra ivoditaham. O King Parikshit, Sukadeva Goswami says, as the Lord sat on the aeroplane on the flowers, with the women offering him prayers and reciters chanting about his characteristics, he appeared like the moon with the stars and planets. Bratra abhinanditah sotsavam prashita purim pravishya raja bhavanam guru patni swamataram. Thereafter, having been welcomed by his mother and brother Bharata, Lord Ramchandra entered the city of Ayodhya in the midst of the festival. When he entered the palace, he offered obeisances to all the mothers, including Kaikeyi and other wives of Maharaja Dashrath, and especially his own mother Kaushalya. He also offered obeisances to the spiritual preceptors, such as Vasistha. Friends of his own age and younger friends worshipped him, and he returned the respectful obeisances, as did Lakshmana and Mother Sita. In this way, they all entered the palace. Putran swamatartastustu prananta vivottitham आरोप्यांके अभिश्चिन्त्यं Vaspo Devirjuhashucha. Upon seeing their sons, the mother of Ram, Lakshmana, Bharat, and Shatrughna immediately arose like unconscious bodies returning to consciousness. The mother placed their sons on their laps and bathed them with tears, thus relieving themselves of the grief of the long separation. Jata nirmichu vidivada kulavrutte samam guru abhyashincha dayate vedram chatuh sindhu jaladibhim. The family priest or the spiritual master Vasistha had Lord Ramchandra cleanly shaved, freeing him from his matted locks of hair. Then, with the cooperation of the elderly members of the family, he performed the bathing ceremony, Abhishek, for Lord Ramchandra, with the water of 4 seas and with other substances, just as it was performed for the king Indra. So naturally, when we do Abhishek of Ramchandra, we used milk, yogurt, clarified butter, sugar, honey, and the juices, the seasonal juices from all kind of fruits, and we worship him with 16 different kind of paraphernalias. Ram Navami will be doing all that. Don't miss. This is like a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity for you. Because this time, we are also doing Ram Katha and trying to encourage you people to come here and participate. We'll have a lot of entertainment for you. We'll have a lot of prasadam for you. A lot of things to know and witness. How do devotees take care of Lord Ramchandra? 365 days we take care of Radha Govinda. Yes, Krishna is taken care. But Ramchandra is coming not 365 days, is only coming one day in a year, on Ram Navami day. And that is why you should come. The family priest or spiritual master Vasistha had Lord Ramchandra cleansed, shaved head, and then he performed the Abhishek. Lord Ramchandra fully bathed, and his head clean shaven, dressed himself very nicely, and was decorated with a garland and ornaments. Thus he shone brightly, surrounded by his brothers and his wife, who were similarly dressed and ornamented. Agrihidasanam bratra pranipatya prasaditaham prajaha swadharma niratam varnashrama gunanvitam. Being pleased by the full surrender and submission of Lord Bharata, Lord Ramchandra then accepted the throne of the state. He cared for the citizen exactly like a father, Dashrath. And the citizen, being fully engaged in their occupational duties of Varna and Ashram, accepted Lord Ramchandra as their own father. Tretayam vartamanayam kalakruta samo bhavat Rame rajani dharmagne sarvabhuta sukhavah. Lord Ramchandra became king during Treta Yuga. But because of his good government, the age was like Satyuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. Vanani nadyo girayo varshani dvipasindavaham sarve kamadudasan prajanam bharatarshabam. Shukadeva Goswami says, O Maharaja Parikshit, based upon Bharat dynasty during the reign of Lord Ramchandra, the forests, the rivers, the hills and the mountains, the states, the 7 islands and the 7 seas were all favorable in supplying the necessities of life for all living beings. Nadi Vyadi Yaragnani Dukashoka Bhayaklama Mrityichani Nasidam Rame Rajan Nakshadokshade. When Lord Ramchandra, Supreme Personality of Godhead, was king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. And who wants death? So 14 years, no one died. And actually we are not talking about while he was away. While he ruled his, which is 11,000 years or something like that, there is no mention of any death. Ekapatni vratodharo rajarshi charitashuchi swadharma grumediyam shikshaya swayamacharat. Lord Ramchandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other woman. He was saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders in terms of varnashram dharma. Thus, he taught the general public by his personal activities and example. Premananuvrutya shilena prashayavanatta sati midhariya cha bhavagyam bhartu sita hanmaham. Mother Sita was very submissive, faithful, shy and chaste, always understanding the attitude of her husband. Thus, by her character and her love and service, she completely attracted the minds of Lord Sri Ramachandra. As Lord Ramchandra is the ideal husband, Ek Patni Vrata, Mother Sita is the ideal wife. Such a combination makes family life very happy. Yad yad acharati shrestha tat tat evataro jana. Whatever example of a great man sets, common man follows. If the kings, the leaders of the Brahmanas, the teachers would set forth the examples we receive from Vedic literatures, the entire world would be heaven. Indeed, there would no longer be hellish conditions within this material world. So, this is the magic of Ramayana. And I believe that it is now Aarti time. So, let us focus on Radha Govinda. We had just offered a big meal to Radha Govinda. A big feast was cooked today on behalf of our sponsor. Every day we are offering the food 6 times a day, and 6 times we do Aarti. So, in order to get that benefit, because we have to chant the Sankalpa, we have to tell Krishna that this prasadam is from such and such Mataji. The program is sponsored by such and such Pitaji or Prabhuji. and even the Aarti offering, and any other service that we do, our sponsor is credited, and it's a very pious, auspicious activity you could not simply do sitting home. And that is why we encourage you to be part of the sponsor of this wonderful Ram Katha that we are reading. And tomorrow will be the last day. So still you have one more day, 24 hours to think. And if you make up your mind, even Sunday we are celebrating the same kind of festivity and same Ram Katha, an opportunity to keep serving Lord Rama by manasa vacha karmana, in our mind, by speaking this way and by actually practicing in our activities. So please try to think over, call the temple or call any devotees if you know, send a text message or whichever way you want to reach. We will do it on behalf of you and definitely will be benefited. So now is the time for Gaur Arti. And I believe that everyone knows these words and you all have these wordings. On the right side it says, Namo Vishnupada Krishnavasta Bhutare Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. And then it says, Namaste Sarasdevam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishishunyavadi Paschata Deshitarine. And on the left it says, Kibajayo Gaura Chande Arati Ko Shobha Jhanavi Tatavane Jagamana Lobha Dakshine Nitai Chand Vame Gadadharu Nikate Advait Srinivas Chatradhara Vashiyache Gora Chandrat Nasihasane आरती कोरेने ब्रह्म आदि देव गणे नरहरि आदि कोरी छामर धुलायो संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गायो शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला बहु कोटि चंद्रजीनी बदन उज्ज्वाल गलदेश वनमाला कोरे जनमाला शिवशुक नारद प्रेमे गदा गदा Bhakti Vinoda Deke Kurara Sampada. And then we'll continue chanting the Narsimha prayer, which says Namaste Narsimha. It's on the other side of the page. Namaste Narsimha Prahlad Dadaine Hiranyakashu Purushaka Shiratanka Nakali Ito Nasyo Parato Nasyo Yato Yato Mito Nasyo Bahirnasyo Rade Nasyo Anusiyagnim Sharanam Pravde Tavakara Kamalo Are Nakamat Buddhashrungam Dalita Hiranyakashutanu Brangam Keshavadruta Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare. And then we have Premadamni, where we'll chant name of Guru Parampara and different places of pilgrimage and rivers where you bathe. And that way we'll conclude the program. Our thanks to our sponsor was sponsoring today's Rama Katha. Tomorrow will be the last day. And what I mean by last day is that we would like to do is 365 days a year. There is no any last day for Ram Katha. But we need sponsor because, as you see, people are visiting the temple during Ram Katha, and we have to give them some prasadam, and there may be some expenses pertaining to live streaming and all that. So please bear in mind, help the temple and help yourself at the same time. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Loudly. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshitarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakturinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakturinda. Ki bajaya jaya Gaura Chande Aruti Koshobham. Ki bajaya jaya Gaura Chande Aruti Koshobham. Jhanvi Tatvan Jagman Loba Jhanvi Tatvan Jagman Loba Dakshina Nitai Chand Bamagadadharam Dakshina Nitai Chand Bamagadadharam Nikate Advaita Shrini Vasuchatra Dara বসি আছে গৌরাচন রত্ন সিংহাসন বসি আছে গৌরাচন রত্ন সিংহাসন आरती करेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गणे आरती करेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गणे नर हरि आदि कोरी चामर जुलायन नर हरि आदि कोरी चामर झुलायन संजय मुकुंद वासु घोषु आदि गायन संजय मुकुंद वासु घोषु आदि गायन शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल নিতাই গৌর হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল। বহু কোটি চন্দ্র যিনি वदन उज्ज्वलं, बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उज्ज्वलं, गल देश वनमाला कुरजल माला, गल देश वनमाला कुरजल माला, शिवा शुक नारदा प्रेम गदागदाम, शिवा शुक नारदा प्रेम गदागदाम, भक्ति विनोद देखें गौरार संपदा, भक्ति विनोद देखें गौरार संपदा, की बजाओ जय गौरा चंद आरती को शोभम, जानवी तटवन जगमन लोबा, गौरंग आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोभा, गौरांग आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोभा, जग जन मन लोभा, जग जन मन लोभा, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरे Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सदा भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अंतरिप मायापुर धाम की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। समावेश भक्त वृंद की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदी all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Prahlad Rajadayena, Hiranyakashipurvakshaha, Shilatankaina Kharayan, Ito Narasimha Parito Narasimha, Yata Yata Mitato Narasimha, Bahir Narasimha Hriday Narasimha, Narasimham Gadim Sharanam Prapadye, Tav Kar Kamal Vare Nakham Adbhuta Shringham, Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa, Keshavadruta Narhari Rupa, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Nrsingadev, 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 Jai Nrsingadev. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radha. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thanks for joining. See you tomorrow at 4:30. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.